Good morning from my smartphone to yours. I'm live from the Serious Story Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California, and this is your terrific Tuesday. Namaste today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my mission is to stand in my heart and help other people make it into theirs. This webisode is for Tuesday, December 29th, 2015, and today the Great Human Walk has made it to step 7, Capricorn. Hello, my friends. Such a pleasure to be here. It is a crisp, chilly, but beautiful and windy day here in Southern California. And it looks like I'm going to be wearing blue shirts this week because I forgot my white shirt. So don't fret. At least I put, the day of the week on the frame so you can tell. But it's a great day today. It's going to be a spiritual day. It's a day of logging into our higher self and really just in time. Tomorrow is step 8 Capricorn. Now, step 8 is the Grandmaster step of Capricorn. So when you hit the home step of a given sign, so step 8 in this case, then you must trigger the sign. It's the first learning benchmark of the sign. So tomorrow is the first learning benchmark of our sign. And the sign of Capricorn is I decide. Now typically what we decide in the first decan or the first act of any conscious transit is we decide what we don't want. We trim the tree. We cut away what's not working for us. We often are also at the same time pointing to something we do want. So it's usually both, but sometimes when people have hit bottom, this is the decision to pull themselves up in this next 24 hours. But I argue because Pluto is now at step 15 Capricorn, which is the halfway mark of control, which means you have the way it used to be before step 15 and the way it will be after step 15. So the world now is ending what used to be this year in 2016 and beginning a new set of rules. I think for your progressive people, this step 8 is also pointing towards those new rules. I think for your non-progressives, you will get rolled over by Pluto eventually, right? So let's do today's vibe and get a feel for what it's going to be for you. Today's vibe is cloudy with a chance of the jitters. That's because Capricorn sometimes can leave us feeling jittery. Our psychic awareness is wide open today, and you definitely want to ground yourself to listen. And that's my whole point. You want to ask your higher self all day long how everything feels, the way things are going. Does this seem and make sense to you? Does anything give you the heebie-jeebies when you think about it? That could be a warning, all right? And I have to say that no matter what people end up doing in the next 2 weeks, and no matter where you end up aiming, with Pluto and Capricorn, everybody on Earth is going to be making new decisions and different decisions. It's just a matter of Saturn time, okay? So if you have the heebie-jeebies, it's definitely some sort of a sign. Are you out of time? I don't know. You should listen to your gut. But everyone should ask their gut in the next 24 hours if everything seems correct. So log into your higher self. Now, our mind is ready to act. Mercury's at step 27 Capricorn. Mercury will be retrograding after the new year. We'll be talking about that. But right now, we're still making up our mind. The retrograde is the repercussions of that decision that we're making right now. So even if you make the right or wrong decision for yourself, the retrograde will be through December, just realizing and contemplating. But today, you are ready to act. When it comes to receiving, today is the final test of personal boundaries. So do not do something or receive and take from the wrong hand right now. Do not cheat on anything right now with yourself. You and your higher self are watching, so it would only do you harm. This is a final test. You only have to be good for 24 more hours, and then it's New Year's, and Venus is actually at 0 degrees over New Year's, so it's like, no, really, it's like, how do I say it? It's like, do whatever you want, kids. That's the way to put it. Now, when it comes to feelings today, it's a 2-part day. We start the day with the moon in Leo, and then we move to the early degrees of Virgo. So you have to have really high self-love and hold the torch for yourself for half the day. Then the second half of the day, avoid picking on yourself or avoid sabotaging what you were just trying to create. So hold that together. And with Mars, it is the final action for our own mirage. So we're making the final test of our boundaries, the final action for our mirage. If you're not in good with your mirage, you'll never be good in a marriage, by the way. And it's time to go forward with that. Now, Jupiter has just is at step 23, Virgo, and the moon over New Year's is going to cross over Jupiter. So it's going to be a very jolly, enjoyable New Year's, I think, because with the moon crossing over Jupiter in Virgo, we're going to feel the new reality, and we're really going to be feeling the new reality, and it really is the new reality. It's Jupiter in Virgo, so I think we're going to be feeling good. So today we're expanding to this new idea, this new feeling. So your joy question, you choose to accept it, is simply to listen to your guides. That's the only thing you have to do today. Listen to your guidance. Tomorrow there will be a big decision. So let's move on to today's topic and continue with our Angels and Energy Week. Today's topic is let go and let God. You've probably heard that many times before. And it's not so easy to do, is it, to let go and let God? And I want to talk about that just a little bit. You know, I myself am a step 18 Taurus, so I love making decisions. I love being a leader. I love going forward. But I have to say, I have learned the hardest way that if you don't check your intuition before you make a decision, you will regret it, okay? It helps in so many ways. And the other aspect of that is letting go and letting God. So when your intuition tells you to do something, can you actually let go? Can you actually let your intuition flow? Can you actually go with what your gut's telling you? And that brings me to today's 5 o'clock question. Have you ever made a decision in your life just on your intuition? Just on your intuition. And the follow-up? Do you check your gut when you make a decision? So I'll answer these questions today. Have you ever made a decision on just intuition? Well, actually, I used to play this game, and I don't have time for a story now, but I literally found my house and my dog by listening just to my intuition. And I told you the story of where I met a girl in Vegas doing the same thing. So I've been led on cool adventures by listening to my intuition. One game I always recommend is if you want something in your heart, let's say you want a new dress, or you want to buy something like an electronic, or you want to find something cool at a swap meet, or any kind of object that you want. Spend a couple days, filling your heart with love and envisioning that object. And then one day get in the car and just drive. Let your intuition guide you. This is a game I used to play, and I've had my higher self guide me to finding exactly what I want at a Best Buy or wherever, and I just turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right, and found myself somewhere. You have to kind of play those games and see and really kind of understand. But I have, allowed myself and my intuition to guide me in these kind of adventure cases, so yes, I have. Do I check my gut when I make decisions? Yes. Like I said, I used to not. But what I do now is if I have a big decision, I will basically ask myself, okay, I'm going to decide this. How does this make me feel? And I'll see how it makes me feel. Now, if I don't like the feeling or I'm not sure, I will do that 2 to 3, 4 more times. Like later at 5 o'clock in the day, like, okay, I think this is the decision. How does this make me feel? Okay. And if I'm still hazy, I'll wait the next day and ask myself again. When I have a negative feeling, it's clear. Like the universe will be like, no, do not. Like a very solid, usually I'm getting an okay, and I'm still like, my scalpel is still cutting away, trying to see, is that an okay? Sometimes I get a blast of like, yes, okay? And in those cases, it's like there's some destiny there. There's some sort of like, you have to do it, like kind of thing. So it kind of ranges, but for the most part, even if I'm like, going to go out to dinner with somebody, I'll be like, I'm going to go out to dinner. Is this a good thing? And like, I'll just listen to see what comes in. And, basically I'll get stuff like, she's going to be late. You need gas. Like, seriously, they tell me stuff like that. And I'll be like, okay. And like, that kind of stuff fills in. Okay, so listen to your intuition today, my friends. Listen and see what it tells you. And certainly, if you're making a decision to cut something out of your life or to open up to something great in your life, which is kind of what the next 24, 36 hours is, metaphorically and maybe even literally, then I highly recommend you throw it by God's Spirit at least once. All right? So let's now move on to our Zenden and our new daily affirmation. And welcome to the Zenden. So first let's take 3 breaths and do our daily affirmation. It only takes 3, really. And today's affirmation is, I decide to listen to my senses today, and so it is, because I said so. I decide to listen to my senses today, and so it is, because I said so. Now, when you make a decision like that and say it out loud, your soul obeys it. And it's kind of kooky, but it's true, and that's part of, spirit working with consciousness. So when you make a decision, you say it out loud, your soul remembers that decision and will poke you whenever you start to get, off that course. All right? So let's put on our overhead projector and take a look at what the planets have to say. And my guides already told me what to look at. First of all, the sun today is at step 7. That is I sense. Okay. So we are sensing what is best for us. We're making decisions. As you can see, we're starting to square now this good old classic square between Pluto and Uranus. This has been a fight between what the rules are in Capricorn and what we should do, how we should act, what does male energy mean, the man and the wombed man. So, part of our decision here to make it past Pluto involves the new man. So we're working out fears. Now, step 7 is a day where you can sense and listen and get that workaround that you might not have on your own picked up on. That's what's the great thing about Spirit, is Spirit will give you intuition and insight that you wouldn't have thought of. And Spirit is everywhere if you want to take a look. We've got Spirit here in purebred form, Spirit here again. This is, of course, the step 7 vibe. This adds to a 7, more Spirit. Okay, so if you don't believe God is there, you're wrong. Okay, now Mars is today at step 27. That is the grand master step of Mars. So this is the master final stroke for our male energy and basically what our marriage relationship will be to ourselves. That's what Libra is, our marriage, which turns into our marriages, like how we treat ourselves is how we end up in relationships. So whatever steps you're taking today for yourself and for others, this is a master stroke. You want to maybe take a couple breaths and listen before you do it. Now Venus is at step 29. This is the Grandmaster. This is basically a Grandmaster step in itself. It's always a master step. Some people call it the karmic step. That's true because you have to work many lifetimes to get to this step. But you'll notice there's some fear here between receiving and spirit for a while, for a few hours. And that's what these squares are. But we are being tested on what? Our personal boundaries, all right? And basically, the final line, 29 adds to 11, which comes down to a certain feeling. It either feels right or it doesn't feel right. You're either in integrity or you're not in integrity, but you're basically going to act on your feelings. So be conscientious. Don't go too far today. You are being tested in that sense. Tested meaning, if you're going to hop out of your normal control zone of Capricorn and live in this new way of living, you can't do any of the old things that you used to do. You can't go back, so you can't have it both ways, basically. Now, Spirit was telling me to talk about step 23. Jupiter's at step 23. 23 adds to a 5. And what's interesting is the 5 is I think. So what we're trying to do is get our mind wrapped around what this new reality is going to be. And the moon today is in the high degrees of Leo, so we're going to have to love ourselves really, really a lot. And then it goes in the early degrees of Virgo, which is going to be self-criticism, self-judgment, not going there. So again, try to stay in this high. You want to be high-minded. You want to take the high road. You want your mind to be in this where you're going and what the reality is that you're making is on that high level. And that is what New Year's is going to be. The moon is going to cross over this tomorrow and then even hit higher in Virgo on New Year's. So it's going to be a very, you're going to feel the new reality if your mind is in the right place. Now, last thing we'll talk about is the mind itself. Mercury. Mercury's at step 27, which adds to a 9. So people are going to be hyperactive minded today. They're going to have diarrhea mouth. They're going to say too much. Loose lips will sink ships, as they say. But in essence, you're going forward. 27 means taking action, signing contracts, executing as necessary for taking control of your life and all these other things. Basically, the new reality, which is being born. Okay, I was just asking Spirit. It will be a 2-part day, and for those who are watched over by my personal Sensei network, first of all, I will put out a serious me-alert when the moon changes and give you some guidance so you know you're not crazy. It's the moon changing energies. And at 12, we're going to go on talking about your holy self and how you make decisions. So you know the holy self from the 7-day trial. Well, the holy self is out today. It's time to connect to the holy self. And at 3, I'm going to give you the specific formula and meditate for your own meditation. So each soul has kind of a formula that helps them open up. Thanks to AIT, I can deliver that to you. So at 3 o'clock today, expect that. For all others, if you're interested in the personal Sensei service, you can try it for just 99 cents for 7 days. Come on down to SeriousJoy.me to learn more. You also get a Secrets of Birthdays video. All right, my friends, so grateful to be in your life and of soul service. Thank you for logging in. I will see you in 24 hours with more. Remember to stay in your heart and listen to your guides before you make those decisions. Remember, I love you and live, love, be.
So